I endure. All hope abandon me to enter here.
Hello everyone, Adrian here. So today I have a wonderful treat for you. So my friend Lee Convery, the former drummer of the band Her Despair, has started his own music project, which is super exciting. I love it. I still can't believe this is happening, and I'm so excited for this very auspicious beginning. But anyway, we'll get to that. So the project is called Synthetic Requiem, and my friend Lee is going to be debuting his first album, which is titled Woe, or Five Sounds for a Sorrowful Seance. I absolutely love the alliteration. That is just so clever. I love it. And it takes inspiration from Dante's Divine Comedy, specifically the Inferno. And I did contribute some voiceovers to this project, and it was really cool to be a part of this. If you are interested in seeing an interview with Lee that I have done previously, like I said, Lee is the mastermind of this new project. I will leave a link in the description below for you guys to check out. And full disclaimer, I am a classically trained musician and singer, and I do occasionally struggle with describing instrumentation and analyzing music for things that aren't a full orchestra, large or small wind or string ensemble, or a symphony, so just keep that in mind. I'm going to do my best. So, chapter 1 is Inferno, and that begins this album, or should I say, auditory anthology. So this one really sets you up with the journey that Maestro Lee Convery will take you on to introduce you to his musical interpretation of Dante's Inferno. The song starts with some industrial mechanical noise, with a drone very gradually building up into the musical tapestry that is weaved, and includes a voiceover from me, which is altered to sound really ominous and creepy and really kind of almost disturbing. And it sounds like it's from an old recording, which was really, really cool. And I'm reading a passage from Dante's Inferno as an overture to the album and the austere world of hell. And shortly after the voiceover, the industrial beats, drones, and synths start, and oh boy, it just sets you up so nicely. I love the chord progression, the intermittent noises, and almost shriek-like voices and textures coming in and going in an ebb and flow. And the beat almost sounds like a funeral march going into the Inferno. And it begins with another sound sample that is super distorted, and the music and the beats draw to a very gradual decrescendo to close it out. The burden follows with the synthesized sounds of the wind and perhaps even lost souls crying on the wind, and some very light percussive accents that almost sound like drops of cave water dripping, which is really interesting. This one is an immersive scene setter for sure, and it doesn't have much musically really going on, but it's really effective in transitioning into the next chapter. She's Gone is next, picking up from the previous scene setter track, starting with a heartbeat and some unsettling, grinding, almost industrial noise with some distant cries of pain in the background and some low synths. This one has a little bit more musical drive than the previous track, but nevertheless, it's still incredibly dissonant and grating, but in a good way that really kind of makes sense. I hope that once you guys listen to it, it will come together and make sense. It definitely gives the feeling of intense anguish and suffering. Toward the end, the heartbeat becomes less present, and you hear some demonic growls and voices again crying out, and then the sound of a piece of paper tearing, which that was really cool. The penultimate track is Chapter 4, The Sea Will Take Me, which is very symphonic in sound, floating on top of the sound of the ebb and flow of the ocean, kind of like being out at sea or perhaps even right on the shore. It's warm, but also a bit sad sounding, and it really tugs on your heartstrings. It's a moment of quiet and calm and harmony after the dissonance and the chaos we heard from the previous tracks. Toward the end, there is a bit of synthesized chorus kind of added that really helps the piece swell one last time before it draws down to another decrescendo for a conclusion and then rides out on the last wave, which I think was a really, really interesting effect. And finally, we have Chapter 5, which is A Moment of Clarity, and this closes the anthology with a very soft yet slightly kind of distorted piano, two notes playing in the silence as the foundation. It swells with an adagio piano line, setting the stage for some very strained and kind of distorted cello, which is incredibly simple, yet really, really effective. and I'm so here for it. This feels a bit more bittersweet and melancholic than the previous one, which says a lot. And the piano picks up in speed and has a bit more melodic structure to it than before and stretches to a higher octave, adding some sensitivity and dimension to it, which I think was really, really beautiful. I really love how this part really builds up on its scant elements to really grab you and impress you. The last act of this piece goes into 6/8 time signature, which is my favorite time signature of all time, and it transitions into a higher octave before fading into the sound of heavy rain. And once again, you hear a voiceover from me. The sound of rain kind of fade away, and you hear some more mechanical noises that would potentially be mimicking the end of listening to maybe a wax cylinder or an old phonograph or something. So that was a really interesting ending and a really good way to close out this album. So, as far as musical debuts go for the category of this fascinating fusion between industrial and ethereal, I think that Lee Convery couldn't have asked for a better start. This was a wonderful way not only to start his musical journey, but also setting the potential trend for a really seductive mix of industrial and ethereal music that I think a lot of people will really eat up. There's definitely a demand for this category. I don't think there's anything like it personally that I have heard thus far, but I really think this is an amazing start for a new artist. And if you are interested in checking this out and supporting the project, then, I would be really appreciative, and obviously Lee would as well. So I know I personally would be really happy to hear more of this new subgenre, and Lee has set the bar incredibly high with this debut of Woe, or Five Sounds for a Sorrowful Seance by Synthetic Requiem. And one last thing I would like to say is bravo, maestro. Bravo, you've done very well. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. The last few weeks have been a little crazy. I'm really, really sorry about that, and I really haven't been making that much content, but I've just been trying to manage some of the craziness happening in my life. I'm still trying to prepare for the release of my own music, and I have a lot of irons in the fire. Is that the right term? I have a lot of fish to fry, let's just put it that way. So thank you everyone for your support. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already for more videos on goth music, gothic literature, absinthe reviews. Definitely going to be a lot of absinthe reviews and more. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful journey that you guys have been with me on this far. Thank you so much to my patrons for your support every single month. I really, really appreciate it. I literally couldn't do it without you. And to everyone, you're amazing. I love you, and I will see you guys later. Bye!